And now, it's time for a Star Trek story. You know, Aaron, we're starting a brand new Star Trek show today. Always in a Star Trek world, you always eventually have to say goodbye to one and move on to another one. And all these shows kind of have to carry the torch for a little bit. And this brings up my question for the day. Aaron, what makes a good caretaker?
Respect. Because if you don't have that, it can lead to so many things. That can lead to neglect and cruelty. Not seeing them as like a person. And then not knowing like to give them their own space, you know, taking care of too much because, I don't know, you don't see them as an actual person necessarily. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you go with respect, it can affect so many things. Everything comes from respect. Yeah.
I like that. That's not what I was initially, like, what I would have initially said. But I'm like, that's actually a good answer. Like, if there's not respect, then wait, what are we doing here? Can you caretake anyone if there's no respect? Yeah, okay. I like that. I'd be curious to get into more of some potential answers and also see what Star Trek's answer to this question is on today's episode of Star Trek Stories. Yay! Yes, this is episode 68, Caretaker. You can tell this is one of those lazy weeks where I just used the title of the episode to come up with the question. But it's a good question. It's a good question. Yes, welcome to the show, everyone. I am your supervisorial host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my custodial co-host, Aaron Hatch. Hello, Aaron.
Hello.
Thank you for supervising and being a custodian of this podcast.
Yes, of course.
With me. We caretake it together.
That's my life goal, is to be the custodian of the Star Trek podcast.
Yay! Yes, this is the first episode in our 17-episode look at Voyager. Woohoo! Lots of Voyager coming up, so buckle up, everyone. To help celebrate the beginning of Voyager and break in this new series, we have a couple of guests on with us today. One returning and one new. Good little spread. To my left, back on the show with us, once again, we have the very lovely Adriana Lemke back on.
Hello.
How are we doing, Adriana?
So good. So happy to be here.
Welcome back. It's been so long.
Thank you. I'm excited for some Star Trek adventures today.
Yeah, we will definitely be getting to some Star Trek adventures. For those who are new to the podcast, Adriana is one of my dearest friends and former member of the Old Boys House.
Official member.
Official
I
member.
never got my badge, but I do think I was there long enough to count.
If you imagine our boys' house like the Brady Bunch, and you think of all those little TV screens of all of them looking at each other, it's just a bunch of boys, and then like how Alice just pops up in the middle. It just and Alice. that was Adriana.
Yes.
Yeah. Adriana's also here. Wacky, wild times we had back in the day. Last time you were here, we watched The Big Goodbye, where we watched Captain Picard cosplay as a 1940s private eye and then gave a fluent speech in Bug at the very end. Just your average Star Trek
just
episode.
a good mashup of all the classics. For sure.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little different than that. Previously when you were on, we talked a little bit how you're a very, very casual Star Trek fan, historically speaking.
Yes.
Historically speaking.
Since the last episode, I have been spending some more time with Star Trek.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to bring up with you, because I think when you came on, and we talked about, your dad watched it.
Yeah, very nostalgic, watching, it was always playing in the background, something my dad watched frequently, and I might pop in for an episode or two. And then, of course, one cannot be at the boys' house without being exposed to Star Trek.
Nope. All day, every day, 24/7. Yeah, so since you've been on, I know that around the same time, your partner, Mark, also a friend of the podcast, started watching through Next Generation, like for the first time. And Mark is this weird, hardcore Star Trek fan who's never watched it. And then because he was watching it, you kind of slipped in there and started watching it with him.
Yeah. He's been wanting to watch it, and we decided to watch it together. So we're a couple of seasons, and I want to say maybe in 2 or 3. We watch it very sporadically.
Sure.
But yeah, I've really been enjoying it. I love some time with Patrick Stewart.
Of course. Daddy Picard. Make it so. Yeah, I was going to say, like, now that, because when you've having this thing that's kind of been this casual in the background kind of a show that you would sometimes, whether it's your dad or us at the boys' house, now that you've kind of sat down and just started kind of watching it and like getting into it, what have your big like takeaways and like impressions been aside from Daddy Picard?
Aside from him, that isn't a very key point, but that's a very good question. I love the sincerity. Like, it is very much its own and like unabashedly so.
It's so earnest.
Yes, yeah. And I love the like hopefulness that comes with Star Trek. It's very easy to get doomsday, but just imagining that might also be an option for future humans is pretty great. And I've also been really loving and pleasantly surprised by how open-minded Star Trek is, especially for the time that it was filmed in.
Early 90s,
It just feels pretty current, despite being, I think, technically vintage at this point.
It's definitely vintage. I've seen those like upholsteries and wood banisters on the bridge. It's definitely vintage. I'm curious, because you're watching through Next Generation right now. I know your knowledge and familiarity with Trek drops off after TNG. We're watching Voyager today. As far as I'm aware, you haven't really watched Voyager or seen much from it.
No. I think here and there as well, like similar in the background, but I haven't sat down and watched any Voyager. Do you, as someone who hasn't really watched it or just has a mild awareness of it, do you have any kind of pre-existing impressions as to what that one is, or? I hear we have a very fantastic and powerful female captain.
This is the one. Kate Mulgrew is Captain Janeway, right around the corner, everyone. Yeah, but that's probably if I think about it, just the most layman perception. I'm like, is that the one with the lady?
That's exactly what I said, Jared. Is that the one that they got a lady captain?
Is that the lady captain one? I've never seen the lady captain one. Is that the one with the lady from Orange is the New Black? Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Okay, that tracks. The lady captain one.
And honestly, that's fair, because there's not much else to remember.
This is definitely a show that's also trying to continue the TNG thing, but we're now with the lady captain, so TNG with a dash of lady captain.
That's the spin.
I'm here for it. It sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'm going to be very curious as to how this plays for you, especially as you kind of been doing your own little Next Generation journey and still kind of going through that one. Very excited indeed. Also joining us on the show, sitting next to Adriana on the lovely green couch, we have a new friend on the show with us today. Yay! Yes, joining us, we have the very lovely Abby Drage with us. Yay!
Thank you for that.
Abby, hello. Welcome to the show. I'm
so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. I've been trying to get you for 30,000 years.
Eons.
Eons.
Truly. It only took an Adriana
Geographic formations have come and gone.
reaching out to my agent.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. For those who don't know, Abby is another good friend of ours, honorary member of the Old Boys House. You were definitely coming and going all the time.
Scampering about.
Scampering about. We should also say, also partner to Adriana. Yay.
Lucky me. And super lucky her.
Lovely and very lovely is here with us today. So much love. You, Abby, used to be, back in the day, a teacher. But now, last I checked, and we mentioned it before we started, you are running a little flower shop.
Yeah, so I'm florist and then also artistic director, helping curate the look of the shop and fill it with cozy, lovely treasures and vibes that invite people to come take a break from cruel humanity.
I always like to ask all the new people coming on, this is very much a nerdy podcast. Spoilers.
What?
And nerddom comes in many shapes and forms. There are many kinds of different nerds, and I like to think that everyone comes on here as a nerd of some stripe. I don't know, Abby. What kind of nerd would you say you are? Is it this kind of flower working with your hands kind of a nerd? I don't know. What would you say?
Oh, I would say all things outside of the human realm.
Like the earthy nature stuff.
So like fantasy. I definitely like fantasy just kind of for me feels like it encompasses all of it. Like even sci-fi, supernatural. I love all of it. Anything that helps give me a break and a breather from these very limited human boxes that the precious humans have created. Very cute of them. Anything that gets me access to stepping outside of that boring place, I am very into. And nature does that for me, for sure. It like reminds me that we are wild beasts, and I'm all about that. So yeah, huge nerd for nature, huge nerd for all things fantasy and make-believe and imaginative.
If I recall in ours talking about it in the past, like, was this also something that was just kind of on, like your dad will watch? It was just kind of...
Yeah.
And you kind of soaked it up that way?
Yeah, my dad, big Next Generation especially, that's like my main memories as well, and exposure. So big Star Trek fan for sure. Honestly, some of like my earliest memories is watching Star Trek with him, and I have always admired him greatly. So I always felt very cool, and again, it felt like a move of rebellion to be watching Star Trek, because it was, at least when I was a kid, more of like a boy-oriented show. Sure. And so I felt it was just extra satisfying to be like, I'm watching Star Trek with the guys.
Yeah.
Feeling very cool right now.
I've got the in.
Yeah.
Well, good news, Abby. We're watching the Lady Captain one today, so now you too can belong to Star Trek.
Me. God, how long did it take? How long did it take to get here?
Oh, God.
Amazing.
Before we get into it, I'm going to open up the question to you guys. What do you think? What makes a good caretaker? You take care of flowers.
I have so many notes.
What makes a good caretaker?
I love the respect. That was so true, so true. I actually had that thought very recently. A loved one kind of aggravated me just a little bit, and my initial thought was like, man, I just want you to respect me. That's all I need. Just respect me. But also I would like to add to that, I think it is so essential that a caretaker takes care of themselves. You're just not going to have the bandwidth.
Can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it to a degree for sure. However, I just feel like when you're caring for someone and you're running on empty, it's hard not to attach a little bit of resentment to the care you're giving. And whether or not people are fully conscious of, I do feel like we pick up on that when someone's caring for us from an empty place. And not like empty intentions, but just dipping too deep into their own well to give to you. And it's just not the best feeling. So, and then also when you're caring for yourself, you're learning how to care. And you're learning what works, what feels good, what feels supportive. And that's just more you're able to offer the loved ones or the people that you're caring for.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Like, self-care isn't entirely selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. Adriana, what do you think?
I was going to say boundaries, which is basically what Abby just said.
I think there's a meaningful distinction.
Yeah, but boundaries, I think like a good balance of like boundaries and empathy. Being able to empathize with where the people or creatures or places are coming from and what their stories are, so that we can better care from them from like a grounded, personalized place. But still having boundaries to like separate self from other, to take that time to make sure that we're not overdoing it, expending ourselves, and really depleting how well we can then caretake because we're burned out, you know? So that definitely comes to mind for me.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of that, I think I would say more so than empathy, which is definitely important, but I would specifically use the word compassion over empathy, because I feel like there is a meaningful difference between the two, and I feel like empathy is just the surging feeling of just, you know, for the other, whereas I feel like compassion is definitely almost like this more kind of learned, practiced empathy, where it's like that's a bit more objective, where you can hold that space for the other, but without getting lost in it, and still being able to take a step back and being able to, because then you can get lost in that kind of subjective experience, and then you're not going to be helpful to them or you or anyone. But if you're kind of focused more on the compassion and can still have that kind of step back, but still, you know, it's very much, there's like a practice to it, more so than just like the surge of feeling that empathy is. And so
I like that. I like that a lot. Like empathy with helpful boundaries.
I love this. I wonder if I have any more to say, or if this episode will spark any more to this discussion. Yes, we are watching Caretaker today. This premiered January 16th, 1995. This is the feature-length series premiere of Star Trek Voyager. So yeah, Voyager was posited to be the true successor series to the extremely popular Next Generation, which would have ended the year before this. Voyager was also made to launch a new television network, the now ill-fated UPN, United Paramount Network. Paramount had been wanting to make a TV network for years, and they finally pulled the trigger in the mid-90s and decided to launch the whole thing with Voyager. So this episode wasn't just launching a new series, it was launching an entire network. Like, this would have been the first broadcast of the entire network, this episode. Just some interesting little context for this episode. Also, we've talked about it a little bit already. There was a lot of buzz that this was going to be the first Trek show with a woman in the captain's chair. So it's a few interesting things to consider with this one as we watch it. All right, for those of you at home who are going to watch along with us, Star Trek Voyager is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find it by bringing up Season 1, Episode 1, and we will be back after we watch Caretaker.
We're alone. In an uncharted part of the galaxy. We've already made some friends here. And some enemies. We have no idea of the dangers we're going to face. But one thing is clear. Both crews are going to have to work together if we're to survive. That's why Commander Chakotay and I have agreed that this should be one crew. A Starfleet crew. And as the only Starfleet vessel assigned to the Delta Quadrant, we'll continue to follow our directive. To seek out new worlds and explore space. But our primary goal is clear. Even at maximum speeds, it would take 75 years to reach the Federation. But I'm not willing to settle for that. There's another entity like the Caretaker out there somewhere who has the ability to get us there a lot faster. We'll be looking for her. And we'll be looking for wormholes, spatial rifts, or new technologies to help us. Somewhere along this journey, we'll find a way back. Mr. Paris, set a course for home.
All right, we just got done watching Caretaker. In case you've never seen this one, didn't watch it along with us, there's a lot of crap that happens in this, so let me see if I can describe it succinctly. So we get a little prologue in the beginning where we are shown the Maquis, who, if we've been watching Deep Space Nine and Next Generation before this, those shows actually set up the Maquis, but we get kind of reintroduced to the Maquis, and they're these Federation outlaws fighting on the fringes of Federation space against the Cardassians, and so we're kind of following this little Maquis crew as they're fighting off some Cardassians, which they successfully do, but then this kind of wave shows up, and then they vanish, everything goes to white. Then we pick up on Earth, where Captain Janeway recruits Tom Paris, this guy who's in a Federation penal colony. He used to be Maquis, and she recruits him to help track. She's on a mission to go find this ship, and her chief of security, Tuvok, has gone undercover of this ship, so she's going to go track down the ship that's gone missing to get her chief of security back, and she gets Tom Paris to kind of help lead them there, and we kind of get a series of introduction scenes. It's like, here's the ship, here's some of the crew and everything. And then as they're on their mission, the same kind of wave shows up and things flash to white, and suddenly they realize they have been transported to the other side of the galaxy. During this event, like half the crew like dies. Like
they take it very well. You move right along.
Oh no.
A lot of major officers.
The first officer, the helm officer, the doctor, the chief engineer, they all die. Like, and they find that they have been essentially hijacked by this array. The crew goes over, or gets like beamed over, and it turns out that there is a being there that is like doing bioprobes on them, much to Abby's chagrin.
So many
the body
needles.
horror.
Don't forget the lemonade. There were sugar cookies.
There's sugar cookies and corn on the cob. Yeah, beforehand.
Sweet old woman on a porch.
Yeah, beforehand they're in this kind of recreation of, I don't know, the American South, and like some little hoedown
That is really
neighborhood
true.
hoot nanny. Turns out it's a weird waiting room before the body horror. Sugar cookies before you get probed.
I mean, if you are gonna get probed,
Corn on the cob. You don't want to get probed on an empty stomach. Eat up. I think I do, actually. So they get probed and they all get sent back, and except for two people, Ensign Harry Kim from Voyager and then B'Elanna Torres from the Maquis ship. So the two ships joined forces to go track down their officers, and God, there's so much going on in this episode. This array they find is shooting energy. Oh, yeah, they talk to the guy who's running it, the caretaker, and he's like, I can't send you back. I'm running out of time. These two people could have been helpful, but they might not be compatible. But he's not giving them a lot of clues as to what's going on, and so Captain Janeway decides to track down these energy pulses he's shooting at this planet. Meanwhile, they run into Neelix, just a little scrapyard trader who has been described during this viewing as Space Hobbit. And he helps kind of lead them to where they need to go. They go to like a desert planet where the Ocampa live underground, and it's revealed that the caretaker is actually taking care of these people and keeping them safe. He's feeding them energy and everything, and he's keeping them also safe from other aliens. We are also introduced to the Kazon, who are trying to get in there and get their technology and get their water. Neelix also has a girlfriend, an Ocampan girlfriend, Kess, that's been captured by the Kazon. That's actually the reason why he's there, so he can get their help to rescue her. And then she takes them all down at the Ocampa compound, and they're able to kind of figure out exactly what's going on, and they rescue Kim and Torres. And then they head back to the array, but the Kazon have shown up en masse, and they're trying to get all the technology, and they realize that the caretaker is dying, and it turns out he's an explorer from a different galaxy, and when they were exploring this planet, they did some environmental catastrophe that they didn't know was going to happen, and so there's this debt that can never be repaid, and so he's been watching over them for thousands of years, and now he's dying and can't do it, and so he's actually been probing the galaxy for life forms that he could potentially procreate with, and that's why they're even there in the first place. When I say it all out loud, it's completely absurd. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to die. But Captain Janeway's like, well, maybe this will be a chance for them to, live on their own. But the Kazon are about to get control over the whole installation. He's like, and the caretaker before he dies, like, you can't let them do this. If they do, the Ocampa are going to be wiped out. So Captain Janeway makes the decision to sacrifice their one chance to get home to destroy the array so the Kazon can't get their technology, which she successfully does, but she has now stranded both crews on the far side of the galaxy in the Delta Quadrant and facing a 70-year journey home. And both the crews join forces on Voyager. Neelix and Kess join, and they also have a holographic doctor because their real doctor died. And the episode ends with Janeway giving a big pep talk, and then Mr. Paris set a course for home. And that's where we left. Whew, that's a lot.
Well done. Well described.
Did I miss anything?
I think you covered it.
Oh, man. We start with initial thoughts. Abby, we'll start with you. Initial thoughts on Caretaker.
Very fun. Intriguing storyline. Took my brain a lot of places, especially since, immediately memories started to unlock. So we're understanding, Adrian and I, that perhaps we've seen more of this
Than we thought we
generation than we thought. I was on board with our Galaxy Hobbit right off the bat.
And then he came with Pixie,
Space Pixie.
Sold.
Here for it.
I'm here for
I'm
it.
Yeah.
like 7 seasons. Bring it on.
Yes. Love the fashion. So fun and playful, and just really, again, the style, like we were talking before we hopped back on air, of just the joy of watching a show that is this lasting, getting to carry with it the flavor of each decade. And of course, being a 90s kid, that's gonna be a flavor that really hits for me. And it just really was of its time. The colors and the textures, all the other shows that I was watching at that time are reflected in this show as well.
It's definitely
the
like
overall aesthetic.
future 1995.
Yes.
It's definitely the world they're living in.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was really fun too. Just as always with these types of shows, being transported back, and also it was fun approaching the episode with our question on mine too. So kind of having an intention as a viewer of the story, kind of observing with a keener eye everyone's approach to caretaking and kind of seeing where the elements we brought up at the beginning were landed in beautiful ways and where they were altogether missed.
Oh my God, anytime one of our like main points came up, just someone just like, and that's good communication. Self-care. That's very important.
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
Those are boundaries.
Yeah.
Or not boundaries. Lack of.
Yeah. So really, really fun.
Hell
Really
yeah.
nostalgic. Juicy.
I know, right? Like nostalgia memory unlocked. Oh my God, I've seen this.
Yes.
Star Trek's so ubiquitous. So even if you never really got into it, it's amazing. It's like, it's still there for a lot of people. Like, I remember this show being on. Like,
Yes.
weird.
Well, and it never ceases to amaze me the power of visuals and music to do that. It's one of my sister and I, one of our favorite things to do is to text one another songs or commercials or little blimps of shows we used to watch to unlock each other's memories, and we are constantly knocking each other on our asses with that, like, holy shit, I forgot, and now I remember, not only remember, but remember in a massive way. Like, I didn't know that show was sitting in a back room of my brain just waiting to be ignited with this image or this song or what have you. And so it's almost like akin to ASMR, I feel like just the type of unique joy you get from unlocking those memories, like just like the feel-good tingles you get of like, oh yes.
I know, the brain tingles you get.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pepper Ann.
Pepper Ann.
Much too cool
There,
for
we just
7th
did it.
grade. Who's that girl? She's that one in a million. I remember that show.
There, you just did it.
It's happening.
Pepper Ann, that's right.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. So I feel like I was getting a lot of those like satisfying nostalgic tingles and brain chamber unlocks in real time. So that was also very fun.
Hell yeah, I love all that. Adriana, impressions coming off of this.
Ooh, definitely got the nostalgia memory unlocks. Like, oh, I think Patrick Stewart just like superseded my memories for whatever reason, and I was like, yeah, Next Gen. That's what my dad watched, but definitely watching this was like, oh my God, I know all of these creatures. I know all of them. These characters.
I know that Galaxy Hobbit. Remember I saw one.
That 90s tie-dye plaid painterly suit. I don't remember that suit, but it does feel very nostalgic, like that 90s aesthetic for sure. My brain was definitely like focusing on the logistical reality of these cast members and creators, like costume, makeup, set, like all of the things that they were trying out and playing with, and like maybe the choices they made, the cinematography,
The very close.
a lot of close-ups.
Could you get closer together?
Closer?
Closer. I mean,
Closer?
yes, you're in frame, but let's get
Closer.
even closer together. Now kiss.
Toe to toe.
Lots of those shots in this.
A lot of those. But like in a just like curious, like, oh, that's interesting kind of way. But also I can imagine that there would be a certain amount of pressure and excitement of diving into another iteration of this show and making, I imagine, like a bold choice of the crew and the captain that we're following. That's, I mean, wait, what did we say at the top? Like, how many years did it take? But like literally those 60s, from the 60s to the 90s. So we're looking at like 30 years
This
to get
whole
us
thing.
to, not that they were making Star Trek consistently throughout that time, but like 30 years time has passed since we met our first Star Trek captain, and now we're meeting our first female Star Trek captain. And so my brain was just like very like active, like analyzing what I imagine like the choices they were making and how they were approaching it, and just kind of getting curious about like what could have been happening in the prep process and in the filming process of this show, not just with a female captain, but just like any like new show. And I love that we're diving into this story with what feels like a very misfit crew.
Oh,
Like
yes.
I don't know, it just feels very fun because Next Generation often, in the seasons I've watched so far, it's felt very polished. Like
Your
they're
family.
scrappy, but they've all like, you know, made their way through their career to get to this position that they're in, and they're thinking about their continued career, and they're on this very elite, fantastic ship. And not that the Voyager is not, but now that they've landed themselves in this very unique situation, 70 years travel unless they find another means away from home, that these two separate crews are forced to come together. And I feel like people that wouldn't have gotten positions got positions. Like, people were put in places that they probably would have gone back to that essentially prison yard, but now he's a lieutenant, you know, Paris, or all of the crew. But so I'm excited about the choices that are being made, and curious to see how they continue to find their footing after what feels like kind of like, I guess, like a pilot episode. It's not, because like the show is established, but for this iteration, I feel like the first episode can often be like they're getting their footing.
Very much so. Yeah, it is. You know, you talk about trying to imagine like the pressure they were under, and everyone, the crew, the cast, particularly the cast, they all talk about there was an enormous pressure on everything and everyone on this show, because like they knew they were launching the network, but they even talk about, it's like everyone knew how popular Next Generation was. They're just like, oh my god, how are we gonna follow this up? And all the new cast just like
Big jumpsuits to fill.
big jumpsuits to fill,
Space PJs.
big space PJs to fill, and yeah, certainly the most vocal in that, Kate Mulgrew as Captain Janeway. She said like the pressure was out of control, like especially for her. She was under so much scrutiny, like particularly. She describes like shooting days where like the studio execs are just in there as they're filming, just basically just kind of like watching her
Oh, no, thank you.
film just to see if she's got what it takes to be the captain. And she was like, it was incredibly stressful and so much pressure. She's like, eventually they left and didn't come back, but she's like, for those first few days of filming, the big studio honchos, like not just the people running the show, but the people running like the studios and the network, just in there, just kind of just like, all right, lady captain, prove it. And she said like, oh man, it was so, I can only imagine how incredibly stressful, just carrying on the legacy of this 30-year franchise. This is like the fourth incarnation of the live action show. They just had this Next Gen. You're being asked to be Patrick Stewart's replacement, and then on top of that, all right, and you're a lady, so Can you feel the pants? It's like,
Do you even know what to do with a ship?
yeah. Do you know what Star Trek is? Do you need me to explain it to you?
Her
Name 5
performance,
episodes.
her performance was phenomenal. I have to say that too. Like, that was very striking. It was just like you said, having loved Patrick Stewart, I immediately was on board with her.
She's got a whole
Immediately.
different energy than Patrick Stewart, but
Yeah.
but much more like she's more vibrant.
Yeah.
He's got the energy, but it's so subdued and mellow. She's a lot more in your face and jumping and walking around and doing stuff. So
Yeah, and it didn't feel like she was trying to mirror him too closely. Like, she was allowing herself to be her own captain,
Yeah,
if
they
you
feel
will.
very different to me.
Yeah.
I really like that. And she goes all in and does a great job.
Aaron, you are probably the biggest Voyager. Not probably. You are the biggest Voyager fan in this room. But you usually watch. You told me you usually watch the later seasons, and don't often come back and revisit the earlier seasons. So, revisiting this very first episode, what are your initial thoughts coming off of this?
Well, I've always said that Caretaker for me is my favorite Star Trek pilot of all the shows, and it's still that after watching it again. But it is fun to come back to it after just so long. It's so interesting because there's so much energy in this episode with all the characters, and knowing what comes next, it makes me sad to watch The Caretaker again because I'm like, where was this? They dropped it so fast. But I love this. I don't know. Everyone's interesting. Even Tom Paris, who's annoying. Everything, he just has this smug, smirky attitude, literally.
Lieutenant Smug.
Everything he does. I had totally forgotten his beef with Chakotay. Probably because it just goes away? Does it?
It doesn't last much longer
Yeah.
past this episode. It's like, no, we're all friends now.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that I think it's great. I think almost everything is exactly what it should be. The only thing that I have a problem with is I wanted to see that conversation between Chakotay and Janeway about how she's the captain now and how they're 2 crews now. Because one second, he's on his ship piloting it and they're all in their different uniforms. And then suddenly the very next scene, they're just all in uniforms, and he's just like, she's the captain. It's like, and she's like, oh yeah, me and Chakotay decided. I'm like, when did you decide this? What? I think we're missing a very important chunk of time. I really wish I'd seen that. I feel like that's the one weakness of the episode, that it wraps up a little too quickly, and I know they have time constraints, but I'm like, surely we could have had less time at the Hootenanny and more time.
We'll figure out
just
these
1
2
second.
crews later. There's corn on the cob.
Do we really need that much banjo playing?
Start the episode, the first part, we started with the Maquis ship, and then, I don't know, I feel like we should have, I don't know.
Had a little more of a resolution and a little
Yeah.
bit of that, yeah.
It felt like such an aside. It was just like, oh, so this. It's like, what?
We're
But-
all going to be a Starfleet crew.
Yeah,
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, but otherwise, yes, I still think this is my favorite Star Trek pilot.
Premiere, yeah.
Premiere, there you go.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's my biggest thing is also, I'm like, you only got so much time, so I get it. But I'm like, yeah, but you can kind of drag it out for the rest of the season or whatever. How are these crews gonna? And especially just one scene. If they could have found one scene, maybe before or after that, Janeway has that little scene with, congratulations, Mr. Paris, you're the helm officer, and hey Cass, hey Neelix, you get to be on the crew too. I'm like, but no scene with Chakotay and the rest of the Maquis people. I'm like, that just seems like a big scene. especially since the episode starts, we get introduced to the Maquis people before we get, so I'm like, just a scene
Just one.
of just like them.
Something.
Yeah.
Done with one less probe. There was room.
Did we have to see
one last
every
shot?
single crew member getting probed?
Did we need that many shots of oozing wounds?
No, the oozing
also,
wounds, uncovered
I think we
wounds.
could have cut a little bit from both of those and found ourselves space for a scene.
I think they could have found the time. There are a few scenes of them climbing upstairs, looking at their ooze wounds, you know, all just once, because I feel like, and it could have even been the same scene, like, congratulations, Mr. Tom Paris, and it's like, and there's just kind of like that kind of yay, and then Neelix and Kes come in right after, and it's kind of like, all right, you wild cards, come on. But then if Chakotay comes in after that, and like the final bit is a little more serious, where it's like, how are we going to make this work? Even just, I feel like that excites your audience to be like, how is this going to be going forward? Like these two, you know.
Yeah, gives it more meat. For
Just
sure.
one scene. Give me one scene. And not put them all in the uniform at the very end. Just at the very least so we can see Torres in that awesome little, like,
Oh, it's so good.
jacket she's
I
wearing.
want
So
that outfit.
Noted immediately.
Yeah, that whole fashion sense. And
A rare Star Trek fashion win.
Rare. There were so many. What are you talking about?
fashion wins across the board. And even just, it is fun seeing the Maquis people look different. And I think that really makes that in this episode, it stands out because you have, you know, people wearing the space jammies, but then you have a good chunk of people wearing all these other outfits. Like Kes is wearing her own thing, Neelix is wearing his own thing, Torres is wearing her own thing, Chakotay. I'm like, it visually kind of just changes it up a little bit, so it's not just all, because, you know, despite whatever your feelings of Troy's outfits are on Next Generation, but she helps kind of spruce things up a little bit, you know, the fact that there's someone who's not wearing the uniform. And I'm like, just even from an aesthetic point of view, just getting to see the more diverse costumes, at least for a while, not just straight to the uniforms. But I get it, those space jammies look comfortable. Yeah, I really like this one. I would not rank this as my favorite of the premieres. I would rank this as definitely one of the strongest, though. I still think Deep Space Nine has the stronger. I think they just go so hard on that Deep Space Nine premiere, to the fact that, like, you're crying as they're trying to explain, like, time and then loss, and making this character, like, have to explain time to these non-time beings, and they're forcing him to relive this trauma, and he has to use this trauma to explain what time is. Like, all of that, I'm like, this is, geez. So I think I'd still put that one. I would put this in a close, like a second or a third place. I think I would put this, because I think, like when you said, there's a lot of energy and excitement in this, and I think one of you brought up, like, these characters and everything. I think this episode does a good job in. There's so many characters they're introducing, and there's so much plot stuff going on in this. But I'm like, I feel like for most of the characters, I got a good sense of who each character is, and that can be so hard when you're trying to roll out. That's a lot of people. Like, even like over halfway through the episode, they keep introducing new people. It's like, here's Neelix, now here's this Kes. Like, oh my, they're just still rolling out new characters. Like, it's I feel like I got a good sense of everyone. That can be so hard.
I feel like they give them good anchors, though. Like, we're given a premise of the Maquis.
The Maquis, yeah.
Maquis. So that gives us a framework for them. You know, I don't think we have a framework for Space Hobbit and Space Pixie. My brain has superseded their names now. Kes
Neelix and Kes, yes.
And Kes. But they're so distinct in their own right that I feel like the motivations of everybody syncing up together starts to give us, like, some level of, like, connection and, like, grounding to each
Yeah.
group.
Well, and like a like-minded. I mean, Pixie was stepping away from. Her name's Pixie now. Stepping away from the collective mind frame that she had been raised in, and like being bold and brave and coming to the surface. Like, I feel like all the characters also shared and were anchored in this similar characteristic of being a little more curious, a little more bold, a little more brave to kind of go against the grain in their own way. Kind of
especially when you have like the Maquis characters and they're like full on outlaws, and yeah, everyone's kind of, Tom Paris is doing his own little thing. They all kind of have, there's a little more of a not edge, but there's this little, they're not the TNG crew like you said, Adriana. It's like when they're all like, we've been like, we are the best of the best, and we are the most spit and polished. Yes. And all of them, even Janeway's got a little bit of a different kind of vibe to her. Like, they're a little more cowboys. Like,
yeah, they got like a rebel vibe, I feel like. Like, even just her deciding to go into the Badlands. She does it as like, well, you haven't seen the Voyager. Like, this is...
You haven't seen Voyager.
Yeah, so all of them kind of taking these slightly rebellious approaches. Some to be rewarded, some not so much, but all very like earnest in their rebelliousness. Like, it's founded in a heartfelt and kind of integral reasoning.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that probably stands out to me the most, is just that kind of misfit crew thing. And like, and you guys have also, it's like, you know, as iconic and famous as that TNG crew is, of course, and like the original crew, but you guys just have, it's like, oh, like watching it, like, I remember these guys. You know, it's like they're their own. You can already see that those, like, they already have like an iconic feel to them right off the get-go. Again, which can be, not all shows get that in the first go. Like, I've definitely seen shows you're like, cool concept, but I'm not sold on the cast. You know, definitely happens. The big thing with this episode is that it sets up the major premise for the series, is that this is the Trek show about a starship that gets flung to the distant corners of the galaxy and has to embark on this long journey home. We've only just watched this kind of first setup. What do you guys think, though? How do we feel about this as a premise for like a Star Trek show, and how do we feel about this episode and kind of like setting up that whole idea? What do you guys think?
I like that it's a foil to Next Generation in a way. Like, that a lot of the episodes and journeys and missions that they go on in Next Gen feel like they're venturing further from home. They're venturing out. They're going out. Yeah. And now we're going to get to watch them all go on all of these journeys and missions with the intent of going home.
Yeah, it's like the inverse. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I imagine, like, you know, just as much exploration and adventures will happen, I assume.
Not one.
Not one. That's it. Just a lot of paperwork after this.
7 scenes of bureaucratic people just, here's the paperwork, and I feel like this show's missing something. I don't know what it is.
They lost the plot. Yeah, going home versus venturing away from home.
Which is also interesting when we kind of talk about how this crew is set up. There's more of this kind of mid-fit, you know, we have these rebels and everything. So it is interesting that with this crew, it's about finding home. Is kind of how they set up the show for these characters. They all got to work together to find home. And I feel like that's a fun little, especially for this little group of people. I'm like, because I feel like this hits harder for who they set up here than if we had if it was the Next Generation characters in this setup, it'd feel a little different. I don't think it hit quite as hard, because it's like they feel like they are already so established and found and are already home.
When they found a way to sneak in, also showing again these very edgy characters all having a soft spot for home and family. Like there are little nuggets that were dropped from most of the characters, little stories or references to family or where they came from, or like the scene with her having a conversation, a Skype conversation.
Yeah.
They still call it that, right?
Space Skype. Yeah.
With her partner, and she's got the photo with her dog and sharing this story of I don't know the names of anyone, but one of the crew members' mom who wanted to send his clarinet along
Harry
the ride.
Kim.
Yeah. So also giving them all that that very personal, very human, something that us as viewers could resonate with deeply as well, even though it's a very futuresque, out of this world, off our planet story. What continues and lives on is everyone's connection with their idea of home and their draw to it and what they're willing to put at risk to get there.
Yeah.
Or protect it.
Still got your dog and boyfriend at home. You still got your clarinet that you're yeah.
Even the Vulcan doesn't worry, but they miss.
Yes.
Their home,
Yeah.
their family.
Yeah.
That's the moment I think works the best, actually, of all the crew. Because I feel like this episode does mostly succeed, but there's so much plot going on that we do miss those character moments, especially at the end. Because I'm like, you guys just got hit with, like, the worst predicament of your life. But they still try to end it on a happy note, which fair. Obviously, you can't just be like, here we go into this new show. Just
Real downer.
Oh my god. I know you
Yeah.
can't do it. But I liked the Tuvok one because that one felt the realest to me, and I don't know. I feel like, and also because it's between Janeway and Tuvok, and I think their friendship and whatever already starts off really strong in this episode, and so the way they play it works really well, I think. And I think that's the best, like, moment when we're talking about, like, connections back to home.
Mm-hmm. It's also a good scene for Janeway when she has that, like, I never seem to have a chance to get to know any of them, and I need to change that. I need to do better about that, and they're a good crew, and I gotta get them home. But yeah, just like it's interesting, they've been flung and they're away from home, and she's got, again, her boyfriend and her derpy looking dog. That picture was like a bloodhound or whatever, with like the tongue just hanging out.
I think it's an Irish setter.
It's Irish setter.
So cute.
Yeah, but, instead of kind of focusing on that, she's directing her thoughts and feelings a little more inward about, her own people and how she doesn't get a chance. These people that she's going out into space with, she doesn't get a chance to really build the connections she wants with them. I'm like, that's an interesting little scene, and where it's like, that's kind of where she's right now being directed, and because in their little starship in a lot of ways is their home while they're out there. And so it's like, now that they really have no other home, she's already thinking about, like, my people here, like, I gotta do something different, like. And that was a really interesting scene, and already just the want to connect, just suddenly when you're faced with not being able to go home, how much more potent you feel the need for. Because I know there are some of us who have a tendency to hermit. I may or may not be one of them. I know you guys have no idea what I'm saying. Never.
Are we all just immense hermits? Because I am.
Not just hermits, immense. Massive, immense. Yeah. We have the biggest shacks cordoned off from society you've ever seen.
The fact that we're all in one room together is absolutely shocking.
Miraculous.
It took how many attempts to get me on this couch?
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to all be on Skype together. Yeah, and it's, and it's not for lack of not caring or loving for people. Certainly not. but it's amazing when suddenly that's all gone and you can't take it for granted anymore. You're just like, I gotta have my people. Like, it's such you don't think about how much that need is in you all the time. Like, it never really goes away. But then as soon as you realize that may not be as accessible as it was, you're like, that's not good. I need my people. I need my people more than anything. I'll never be alone again, I promise.
Yes, like being forced to be away from your humans in quarantine. Also, I'm like, I never wanted to see you, and now I want to see all of you all the time.
I know.
I didn't care a lick about that yesterday. What?
Oh, God, I know when I had the COVID, I'm like, I promise I'll never have it again. I will make more time for all of my friends.
I won't cancel those dates.
No, never
I won't
again.
reschedule.
Oh, I can't make it. I just have a thing.
Called my bed.
There is this book that I have not been spending time with, and he is very upset with me. It's not me. It's not me.
Dandelions call, and they can be pushy.
Yeah, it's just interesting when you're watching something like this, just kind of what it provokes in terms of, what do you do when suddenly you're just completely cut off from home and how everyone reacts.
Yeah, and how your bandwidth changes for the humans around you too. How easy it is to maybe keep people at arm's length or judge them, or maybe just not necessarily see them as someone that you're interested in getting to know or hold space for. But then when they're kind of it and you're forced to breach those barriers and be a bit more open-minded and curious. And that curiosity, that was another thing I was thinking about the whole show, because that was when you asked the question about caretakers, another thing that popped into my mind was being curious, just allowing yourself to making sure you never make up your mind about a person, especially someone you're taking care of, because then you miss out on understanding who they are and what they need. And I feel like I saw a lot of that in the episode, of characters maybe feeling a little resistant initially, but eventually getting over that and reaching that point of curiosity of like, what am I missing here? What about them am I not understanding? What am I overlooking? What preconceived notion can I shake loose a little bit to hold better space for this individual that now I'm going to literally share space with for who knows how long.
Who knows? 70 years.
Yeah, that's no small amount of time.
No.
It's a hot minute.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, now that you kind of bring some of that stuff up, if watching the first part of this episode, I feel like the characters were introduced, because like we're introduced characters that immediately get killed off. So that's clearly part of why this comes across this way. However, I feel like at the beginning there's a lot more standoffish defensiveness between all the characters. Janeway and Paris are kind of like definitely have their agendas, and and he and Tom Paris is like, you should listen. Like, don't be my friend. Like, there's just a lot more just like, eh. And then as soon as they get all flung into this situation, with the Maquis people, they were chasing them down. The whole reason was that they were trying to chase these people down. And then also, if you factor in like Neelix and Kes, who are just complete strangers, have no idea even what species really it's interesting to watch how quickly you see everyone start to really kind of gravitate. There's almost that instant, like, oh damn, like we're all we got. And even like they kind of set up with, Tom Paris and Chakotay having this beef, but you can already see even real quick, there's like, we don't have a lot of time. And to the point where one of them's already like willing to risk his life to save one. I'm like, you can see real quick how they're all starting to gravitate toward each other, because it's like, you are the people I have right now, and that's it. Some of you are strangers, some of you were enemies, and to see that kind of it seems like there's a little bit of a shift, which is really interesting to watch, where you see them all instinctually just like reaching out, kind of a thing. We've talked a bit about some of the characters. and we get introduced to a lot of characters here. We have to start, and we've talked about her a little bit. We have to talk first and foremost about Kate Mulgrew as Captain Janeway. Like I said, she was definitely a big part of like the marketing buzz around this. Yeah, what do you guys think? What are our impressions on her? We talked a little bit about how does she really come across in this? What are our feelings and impressions on her, either as like an actor, or as a character? Did they do a good job like establishing her as like the captain, the lead for this new show?
Absolutely. I think
Absolutely.
I think her captaining is never in question. And Kate Mulgrew does a fantastic job. She feels like as fully realized a character as you can get in one episode, or I guess it's technically two, but I don't know, and she's 200%. 200%. Like, you even get these moments where, like, I love watching her facial expressions all the time, but especially in this episode when she's talking to Neelix and Kes, like, there's a lot of subtle movements in her face, and I'm like, there's a lot happening right now, and I love that. I don't know. I think she does a great job, because she's good about commanding. She's good in her soft moments with Tuvok and her moments of doubt, her moments of introspection. Like, she has, I don't know, she has all these moments, and she plays them all so well, and you can see how she changes, how she speaks, and her body language depending on who she's speaking to and where she is. Like, when Tuvok comes into her, she just immediately just like goes and sits on her like bench or whatever, and she's just like, oh, or whatever, you know. And I don't know, I think she does a great job. She feels alive and real, and and a strong lead for the rest of the cast.
I agree. I really loved watching her, just like you said, seamlessly move through, being a leader, but moving through what that means in her own way. It actually felt very refreshing, like not the type of leader we always get to watch on television. Yeah. Someone who has the capacity to be very forthright and commanding, but also soft in the moments that they need to be soft, and going through all the roles of, being a listener, being more of a commander, what have you, or more of a mediator, just having the capacity to contain all of it. And in a way that felt very, very anchored and comfortable. Yeah. Like, she didn't seem to be fighting with herself. There was definitely a sense of trust and value in her own position. She didn't need validation from anyone. There was a very satisfying level of security in who she was as a leader, that she didn't feel challenged by people, even those who were challenging her. It's
an incredibly challenging situation she's thrown into. Incredibly challenging.
Yes. And man, can she pin up a do in a in a tight situation.
From strolling from the bridge to engineering to fix the warp core before it blows up.
Her skills are many.
She just gets her bun of steel perfectly back into place. It's like, if she ain't the captain, I don't know who is.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they didn't shy away from, because I could see how it would be very easily, if you're putting a woman in this position, especially, for the first time, letting a woman portray the captain, it would be very easy to force that role to still be more on the masculine side, out of fear of your audience's opinion. So I was just very satisfied to see that they were not afraid to let her contain so much more than that into
the multitudes.
Yeah,
it'd be really easy to overcompensate one way or the other. Yeah, it's a woman, but she's gonna be one of the dudes.
Exactly.
Or she's gonna be the ladiest captain that ever lady. And like, I don't feel like at any point she just comes across as like a person that contains multitudes.
Exactly. Well equipped
like,
for the job.
Thank you.
I feel like she embodies something that I strive for when I'm working on productions as a fight choreographer. In that acceptance of collaboration. Like, she feels very collaborative. She'll take the suggestions, the feedback, she integrates it, and then, like you said, she'll take that and be like, okay, now this is how we move forward. And some of the best work that I've done, it has been in a collaborative place of accepting, like, someone being like, well, what if we do this next? I feel like my character would do this. The director stepping in and saying, how about we head in this direction? And practicing letting go of my ego, as Abby has said, like, enough that I can really assess what's in front of me, decide what best fits and what best may function in the moment, and then moving forward with an option. I don't take all the suggestions, but I do think when I'm doing my best work, I like hear all the suggestions, and I feel like she was very much in that vein, and I do think was embodying I loved the duality of her. Like, as has been mentioned, like, she just they didn't push her too far into masculine or feminine. Nope.
She should be a person.
Yeah. And I love that I just want to say that I love that they called out the sir, ma'am, captain moment at the beginning. That was so fun. It felt like such a good icebreaker for this, like, female captain. They're like, we're just gonna call it out and we're gonna name it. And she was just, like, so unapologetically was like, nope, this is what you call me.
I prefer
Thank
captain.
You so much. And what did she say about ma'am? Like, only in...
That'll do in a crunch, Mr. Kim. It's not crunch time yet.
I'll let you know. We're there. But call me captain.
Yeah, I'm the captain.
Very, like, unapologetically has, like, earned that place and owns that place and holds space for her team. Yeah, so I thought that was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like a little wink at the audience.
Absolutely.
From the writers. They're like, we're gonna call out what's happening and maybe...
But still a good, like, character moment for her in conjunction with it, because she lets, like, this little young Ensign Harry Kim kind of stumble over it and kind of... but you can still see that she's treating him with compassion, but she also, at the same time, lays down the law. It's like, but you can call me captain.
Correcting without shaming.
Right.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Right. It's so good.
I would love to have her as my manager.
Oh,
I'm like
my
watching
God.
her. I was like, can you be the captain of my work? The captain of my life.
My ship? Climb aboard.
Can I work with you?
Adriana, there's the wrong way, and then there's the Jane way.
I think my life might be less chaotic if she was in it.
In terms of all the other characters we get introduced to, what do you guys feel like? Any standouts? Anyone who leaves any initial impressions with anyone? Abby, I know you got real quick on board with Space Hobbit.
That was immediately where my brain went. I am really infatuated.
Neelix.
Yes.
Just taking a bath, eating food. I'm like, I
Collecting
relate
space
to that guy.
Killer wardrobe. Falls in love with a pixie. I'm just, yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah, exactly. Really lands here.
Yeah.
He's kind of a space raccoon, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Just scavenging for his things. Yeah. He's fun. And I also very, like, unapologetically himself. Just...
Unapologetically.
Like, it's so heart-centered. So many, like, we get so many fun, tender, out-of-uniform moments. Like, someone who's not in the Federation, but very much gets tossed into the team.
He shows up and instantly hugs Tuvok. Good to meet you.
So cute.
He's probably the one that stands out the most. Like, there is no one like him on Next Generation.
And
like,
it's not just the suit.
No. He is a whole different kind of a character.
I would say the Caretaker as well, just because it was just a fascinating way of narrating very much what humans deal with here on planet Earth, as far as the mentality around what it means to take care of someone, on whether it's on any level and capacity. And so just that, using that character as a way to open space for that conversation of what is the right way to lead a people or a person or a community or a business, and getting to explore those questions of like where their heart was in the right place, or where they were honoring responsibility, and where they maybe got a little off the mark with how to do it in a way that was truly sustainable and in a way that respected the people that he was the caretaker of. Like, he thought he was respecting them, but truly having them so dependent on his or their lead didn't really do them service in the end. And I feel like we see that so much here on planet Earth in current time. So I appreciated their use of that character to just kind of open up that conversation and reflect on those elements of caretaking and leadership, and also the ripple effect that we all have in different ways as well, like what our responsibility is to the people in our lives, to our community, and to the generations that are coming up behind us as well. Like, how are we setting them up for success in the way that we act today as caretakers of ourselves and in our world.
It's an interesting kind of tragic character, because it's like he accidentally created this horrible, planetary didn't mean to, just didn't know that this was going to happen, and then spends 1,000 years trying to make amends for it. It's like, oh my God, like just the weight that you would, but then also to the point, so he's like protecting them, but then there's this also, thing you have to consider that, Janeway brings up in her conversation with him. It's like, and then like Kess also speaks to it, but now they've grown so dependent. Is it now to the point where like him taking care of them is harming them? And you can see just he's so obsessively focused on you can tell there's like genuine worry and dread about what's going to happen to them. And it's an interesting kind of tragic character where it's like someone who's only got the best of intentions, but is like, how incredible, just spending your entire life working to make amends for something you did. It's like, it's incredible. But even then, just like, that can still get you into trouble if you're not careful. And you also need to let people, part of the healing is going to be, but they have to still be their own people. And, that's part of the healing journey. And you have to kind of also just like, but then you feel that personal response. I have to keep trying to do everything to make
hold fierce to the reins.
He starts with the wrong perspective. It's I don't want to say it's selfish, but he's doing it kind of just for him. I feel like
his own grief has kind of taken over.
Yeah, it's all about him, and trying to like this like guilt and shame has just been with him for so long, and that's what's feeding all this. And because of that, he can't really see beyond that, his own grief, and he, and their survival is really tied to him trying to feel better about this too, like especially after so long, and he doesn't really see the Ocampa as them as people necessarily.
It's almost like it's become this debt, this abstract, I have to keep bearing my cross.
Yes.
Rather than really realizing
martyrdom at its worst.
Because he's not really considering the continued negative effects, because he's been abducting people from the entire galaxy and unconsensually probing them and trying to breed them, like
and giving them a disease.
And then like, sorry, I can't send you back. Like, What?
You're oozing with sores now. Oops.
And now you've got these weird sores.
You're gonna die soon.
The whole thing, everything is just one-sided. It's all about him, and he's, and he doesn't even communicate with the Okampa. They just have to try and interpret.
It's become like a religion kind of for them, which is kind of also...
It's like, does he not talk with them? Because I don't know I don't think it went over it at all. Like, does he just not communicate with them because he doesn't want them to know what he did, or something like that? Like, I want to know why he just completely just doesn't actually have a relationship with them, like a real.
Or just didn't feel like he had time for them. Was too worried about sustaining his payment to his debt to spend time actually getting to know who he's caring for. Kind of to bring it back to the captain, checking in with herself and be like, I need to take time to get to know these people
that I'm caring for.
I like that parallel.
And I love too that conversation that she was having with him about giving these people the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet. 'Cause we've already spoken to that being kind of her superpower that we're already seeing as a leader. She knows, from what we've seen so far, when to step back and let her crew stand up and take a turn leading or giving feedback or participating, what have you.
I wonder almost when you ask that question, Oren, what comes to mind for me is that, like, it may not have even crossed the caretaker's mind to communicate with them when he refers to them as being children. That it's just like, why would I? They don't know. Like, why would I talk to them? My job is to take care of them. Like, maybe my hypothesis is that, like, my imagining of it is that it's a combo of infantilizing them and the guilt of what he's done, like not wanting to personalize that reality, and also just looking at them as such children that it's like, why would I? All I'm here to do is take care of them to the extent that hopefully I repay my debt, even though it's impossible to repay this debt.
Yeah, there is this kind of self-involved distance, because even when he's talking to the Voyager crew, it's like, I've probed the galaxy using methods far beyond your comprehension. Like, even to the Voyager crew, he's pretty dismissive.
Like simple bipedal creatures or something.
Yeah, bipedal species. I'm like, but that's also who the Okampa are. He's just so dismissive. It's like it forces him. His whole approach makes it so he doesn't have to engage with it. He can just keep the distance and just say, but I'm doing there's almost a self-flagellation to it, almost. Again, but it's so tragic because, again, good intentions, but there's some problematic behaviors here, and because he's not really engaging with them. Yeah, and that is a good point you bring up where Janeway has that. She's a good parallel where she realizes, like, I have to negotiate and connect everyone together, so we can all move forward. We can all move forward together. It's a really good kind of juxtaposition between both of them in these kind of tough spots, how they handle it. One last question before we start to wrap it up. This is pitched to audiences as the successor to TNG. If you're a TNG fan and you're coming to this as the new Star Trek show to watch, what do you guys think? Does this get you excited to keep watching more to see what comes after?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But of course, I'm coming from a place where hungry always to see more women in
media
roles and leadership positions and places of power. So yes.
Finally.
Yes. And also a Mod Podge group. Sucker for a Mod Podge group.
Can finally get that bald British French guy off there and get my lady captain.
I love stories with weird found family.
Yes. The Misfits. Absolutely.
What do you think, Adriana? You've been watching a lot of Next Generation. There's definitely a different vibe with this one, but...
Yeah, but it feels like it has like a similar... Some of the things that bring me back to Next Generation episodes is like sitting down and knowing like it's a grab bag. Like I'm just gonna get like, who knows what's gonna happen in this episode. So I feel like that similar premise of like the episode might take us to dark places, hopeful places, adventure, weird things, uncomfortable things, funny things, but that like core kind of premise of what I enjoy about sitting down and choosing Star Trek over like the number of other things that I might put on the TV is that excitement of like not knowing what kind of story I'm gonna watch, even though I know it's Star Trek and it's gonna be something in that vein, but like it's still gonna be a little bit of a wild card. So I feel like that's still present, and I definitely would echo the, again, as a female watching a show, always nice to watch other female lead characters, and that was well crafted. Like that aside, like it was a good episode, so I'd be down to watch some more.
All right, I think we'll wrap it up. We'll do a round of final thoughts. Abby, final thoughts on Caretaker.
I appreciate the topic. It's one I'm thinking about all of the time in this world where we are caring for ourselves and our people and our community and our planet. So always am here for a storyline that brings those questions to light and also provides us characters to live through different perspectives and possibilities. And also always a sucker for a nostalgic ride. So thanks for inviting me here to engage in my 90s kid heart.
Yay! Can put my jammies back on and get my cereal.
Yes.
And yay!
Yes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. I love to facilitate a good nostalgia trip.
Yes, I'm so happy I didn't miss out rekindling with our Galaxy Hobbit and Pixie. A real gift I'm walking away with today.
Thank you. It's the Pixies who walked away with at the end of the day.
Yes.
It's not the journey, but the Pixies we met along the way.
And the outfits. I was gonna say the Hobbit outfits. Yes.
Adriana, final thoughts.
I also enjoyed the theme of this show, and I'm left with the curiosity of considering what a caretaker is, and I assumed going into it that when we talked about Caretaker that the episode might be referencing a new captain, and it was an interesting topic to reflect on with a kind of overlord alien godlike weird religion caretaker, and seeing the good intentions and pitfalls of that, and also seeing our new captain step in as a caretaker, and I think she's surrounded by a bunch of caretakers, and how they're gonna go on their journey together. So
we ought to take care of each other.
Yeah. Aw, our misfits are gonna take care of each other. Yeah, a really good episode. Really glad to be back to watch this one. It was really fun.
Hell yeah. Lauren, final thoughts on Caretaker.
Loved it. It's fun to come back after years and with a new kind of mindset, and see new things that I never noticed before. And it makes me really excited to go through the rest of our Voyager episodes, especially because they're all like seasons 1 and 2, and those are the ones that I watched the least, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just excited to just after this watch more episodes. I know roughly what I'm going to be getting, but I'm excited to come at it from the viewpoint of a writer and just look at all the little details everywhere with them. So
yeah, it's one thing to watch it casually, but when on the show, it's a little more intentional. And that always makes, even if you know what's coming, it's always a little different when you're kind of like, whether it's a question in mind or whatever, kind of like really kind of get in there like thinking about it and not just having it just be something you're watching. So
Yeah, especially when you have other people who are doing the same thing and have wildly different perspectives or are noticing different things. It's really fun.
yeah, I really like this episode. I think for me the biggest standout is the cast. I feel like they did a really good job about setting up the entire ensemble of here's who we're going to be in. I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm kind of on board with all these characters right off the get-go. And again, that's hard to do. So I think that's my biggest takeaway from this. And of course, Kate Mulgrew. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on. Abby, thank you so much for coming on.
It wasn't worth the wait.
Of course, it's always, Abby, it's always worth the wait.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Not everyone's worth waiting for. You are always worth the wait, Abby.
Aw.
So when are you coming on next time?
I was just going to say, please give me another chance to get on this couch.
Yeah, you like that couch, don't you?
I love the couch and I love the company.
Oh, of course. I came for the couch, stayed for the company.
Most of all. Yes. Yes. Most of all. Absolutely.
Adriana, thank you for coming back on the show.
Yeah,
always a pleasure and a delight.
Pleasure. For sure. Happy to be here. Always.
It's been a hot second, but again, I would also love for you to come back on as well.
Oh, okay.
All right, and thank you. Our first of a long journey ahead of us.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Our 70-year journey home.
I know, I love Voyager. Let's do every episode.
Maybe at some point, but we're going to do 17. We're going to take a nice little curated look at Voyager. So, all right, everyone at home, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of Caretaker, if not the episode itself. Next time, we are going to be watching Parallax. Like we did with Deep Space Nine in our last chunk of episodes, we're going to be taking a look at the second episode, the one that comes right after the big splashy premiere. It's always interesting to watch these because you get the big splashy premiere, but in a lot of ways, it's the very next like regular episode that really kind of sets up, okay, here's what the show is going to be week after week. That's going to be interesting to see kind of how Voyager kind of really kind of sets itself up going forward. And we will be having on a new friend for that one as well. It's always fun having new friends. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Adriana, Abby, thank you again so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And everyone at home, we will see you all next time. Hopefully not stranded in the Delta Quadrant, 70,000 light years from home. Hopefully you are not also making that journey. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.